Hey, what's up, YouTube fans? So what I wanted to talk about in this video, right, is how not only are human hands very much like that of other primates, but also human feet, right? Both hands and feet of humans are very much like that of other primates, right? So the commonality of the human feet to the feet of other primates like that of a chimpanzee, right, is not as immediately obvious or apparent as the commonality of our hands to that of a chimp or another primate, right? Because humans are the only living primates that do not have grasping ability of the feet, right? All other living primates have grasping feet, which helps with tree climbing. Humans, as an adaptation towards bipedalism, right? We no longer have grasping ability of the feet. Our big toe is lined up with the other toes, and we have arches in the feet, right? This setup helps with bipedal movement, right? And the feet, I would say, is one of the parts of the body that most immediately stands out as being different between a human versus a chimpanzee, right? Chimpanzees and bonobos are our closest living relatives, by the way, DNA indicates, right? DNA evidence, right? One of the most obvious differences between our body and theirs is the setup of the feet, because of how they have grasping ability of the feet and how they have flat feet, right, without the arches, right? And yet, in spite of the differences, in spite of the unique setup of the human feet, the feet of humans, right, are still very much like that of other primates, fundamentally very much like that of other primates, right? So human feet, obviously, like most tetrapods, right, our feet have tarsals and metatarsals and toes with phalanges, right? But not only, and that of course is also the case in other primates, right? The rest of the primates. But not only that, most primates like us have exactly 26 bones in their feet, right? This is not the rule across tetrapods as a whole, right? The vertebrates with feet, right? But most primates, including humans, have exactly 26 bones per foot. Not only that, but most primates share with us the exact number for each specific kind of bone, right? So most primates like us have 7 tarsals per foot. And most primates like us have 5 metatarsals per foot, right? And most primates like us have 14 phalanges per foot. And not only that, right, but most primates have the same phalangeal formula as us in their feet. So what does that mean? The phalangeal formula tells us the number of phalanges per toe, right? So for most primates, including us, the phalangeal formula for the feet is 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? So what that means is, for one thing, we have 5 toes per foot. Not all tetrapods even have 5 toes per foot, right? But most primates, including us, do. But it's not just that; it's the same number per toe. So for most primates, including us, the big toe has 2 phalanges, right? Whereas the rest have 3 phalanges, right? And then also, this is what's more, so other primates like us have toenails, right? as opposed to toe claws, right? So most mammals, most amniotes, in fact, not just mammals, but also birds and reptiles, uh, have toe claws rather than toenails, right? This is what you will see on your pet dog or cat if you have a dog or cat as a pet, right? And on most mammals, most birds, most reptiles, they have claws on their toes, right? But we have toenails, right? You can see here my toenails, right? And nails are different from claws in that they're shorter, flatter, and wider, right? So very different from claws, right? And this we see across the primate group in primates, including humans, right? Um, okay, and while we're at it, I'll talk about the commonalities with our hands to that of other primates. That part is more obvious. Our hands obviously still do have grasping ability. Uh, great dexterity, right? Much like that of other primates. And the nails, right? Like I said about the nails rather than claws, that also applies to our fingers, right? We have fingernails rather than finger claws. By the way, also worth noting, most groups of primates have what's called a grooming claw, where there's one claw per foot and per hand, right? One single claw, while still mostly having nails, right? But Catarrhine primates, which is a group of primates we're a part of and has hundreds of living members, Catarrhine primates do not have grooming claws, only nails, right? So Catarrhines, that includes all of the old world monkeys and apes, right? Including us, right? Catarrhines do not have a grooming claw, right? But in any event, also with the hands, it's the same number of bones in our hands as that of most primates, right? So most primates, including us, have 27 bones in each of the hands, right? That includes us, right? And the same number of bones for each type of bone in the hands, right? So for the carpals, it is we have 8 carpals per hand, right? And for the metacarpals, it is 5 per hand, right? And for the phalanges, it is 14 per hand. And for the phalangeal formula, it is much like the feet, it is 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? So two phalanges in our thumbs, and then the other fingers, the other 3 phalanges, right? This is what we see in most primates, including humans. Again, it is not what we see in all animals, but it is what we see in most primates, right? Including humans, right? And so both the hands and feet of a human are very much like that of other primates, right? Now, while humans still retain these very primate-ish features from our primate ancestry in our feet, right? Like I said, the human feet are also very unique in that we no longer have grasping ability, unique among living primates, right? And as I said, that is an adaptation towards bipedalism. The change in the feet, right, really is not just a single adaptation, but a compilation of a series of adaptations over a long stretch of time, because it did not happen all at once. It happened very gradually. The fact that our big toe is more so lined up with the other toes and no longer having grasping ability, that did not happen all at once in a single step, like, oh, something with chimp-like feet gives birth to something with human-like feet. It happened very gradually through a very gradual series of adaptive changes that the big toe got closer and closer and closer to the other feet, and that our feet got arches in the feet as well, right? We have evidence as to the specifics on this in the fossil record, right? We have intermediate groups in the fossil record, such as Australopithecus. Some of the Australopithecines, their feet were fossilized, right? And we see in their feet that their feet were intermediate, right? Their feet still had some amount of grasping ability, and yet the big toe more so aligned with the other toes than most primate feet are, right? Along with a number of other adaptations towards bipedalism that they had, I've talked about in other videos, right? Such as bowl-shaped pelvis. Some later Australopithecines had longer legs than arms. They had the foramen magnum, which is the hole through which the backbone enters the skull, was positioned and angled at a spot much better for bipedalism compared to chimps, compared to non-human apes alive today, right? And so in any event, and, the closer to human it gets, the more so the feet are all the more like us. Obviously in, Neanderthals, for example, all the more feet like ours, right? And so while our feet are very unique among living primates, in the fossil record, we see many other primates that still, while very different from modern humans, had feet much more like ours, right? But the change of the feet, it was mostly just modifying what was already in there, right? Skeletally, it still is all of the same parts as in a chimp's foot, right? All of the same bones, right? As in a chimp foot, right? And so it's mostly a matter of what was already in there was modified as we adapted towards bipedalism gradually. All right, that's all for now. See you guys.